The sun hung low over Ouagadougou, spilling golden light across the rooftops like an ancient blessing. The city hummed with life. Vendors shouted over the chatter of motorbikes, barefoot children darted between carts and wheelbarrows, and the red dust of the streets danced in the air like forgotten spirits rising. President Ibrahim Traoré had just finished a quiet, unannounced visit to a neighborhood school. No cameras, no speeches, just the way he liked it. He believed leadership was about presence, not performance. He walked among the children like a father checking on his own household, his face softening as a young girl recited a poem from memory. As he turned back toward his convoy, preparing to leave, something pulled his eyes toward a shaded corner near a cracked cement wall. There, slouched against the wall, was a man. His clothes hung off him like tired cloth. His hands were ashen. A tin cup sat before him, empty save for a few coins dropped by strangers. He didn't beg. He just sat, with the stillness of someone who no longer expected the world to notice. Ibrahim's footsteps slowed. There was something hauntingly familiar about the man's posture, the way his shoulders curved, the tired strength in his silence. He motioned for his security to wait, then walked across the street. The closer he came, the more his heart began to race. "Joseph," he said softly, as if afraid the name might vanish in the wind. The man stirred. His eyes, dull and distant, blinked hard. Slowly, recognition dawned. His lips parted. "Ibrahim." They stood frozen in that moment, two boys from the same soil, once sharing laughter, books, and dreams, now separated by a lifetime of fate. "I can't believe it's you," Ibrahim said, his voice thick. "What happened?" Joseph tried to stand, wobbling on weak legs. He lowered his gaze. "I never thought you'd see me like this." "Come," Ibrahim said, putting his arm around him. "You're coming with me." "I'm not fit to sit in your car," Joseph whispered. "You're my brother, that's what matters." The presidential convoy drove silently through the capital. Inside the vehicle, Ibrahim never let go of Joseph's hand. That evening in the palace, the staff didn't ask questions. They brought hot water, clean clothes, and a warm meal. Joseph bathed like a man waking from a long nightmare. When he emerged, the layers of filth and shame peeled away. He stood straighter. But his eyes still held the weight of years. At dinner, he ate slowly. Every bite brought back memories of the life he'd lost. Across from him, Ibrahim poured 2 glasses of bissap and waited. When Joseph was ready, he spoke. He had once been a school principal in Burkina Faso, beloved by students, respected by colleagues. His life was humble but fulfilling. He had built his house with savings from his modest salary and married Stella, a woman he adored. But peace, he said, can sometimes be a fragile thing hiding behind painted smiles. Over time, Stella grew distant. She scrolled endlessly on her phone, came home late, snapped over small things. Joseph held on, thinking it was stress. One day he came home early and found her with another man in their bed. "I was frozen," he whispered. "I walked out without saying a word." She followed him, not to apologize, but to end it. She told him to leave the house. The man he saw was the one she now loved. Ibrahim's fists clenched. "And the house?" She claimed it was hers, took me to court, lied, showed false papers. "And the judge?" "Believed her." Joseph had to walk away from the house he built with his own hands. His savings vanished in legal fees. He lost his job from the stress. He moved in with a friend, but shame ate at him until he drifted to the streets. "I haven't eaten daily in years," he said. "I sleep where I can. The shadows became my blanket. Sometimes I prayed not to wake up." Ibrahim stood and placed a firm hand on Joseph's shoulder. "You don't deserve this," he said. "You gave me books in school when I had none. You defended me when others mocked my accent. You believed in me." Joseph looked up. "You still call me your friend?" "I never stopped." That night, Joseph slept in a real bed for the first time in years. As he drifted off, he clutched the blanket like a lifeline. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he dared to hope. The next day, Ibrahim arranged for Joseph to see a doctor. His body, though weakened, was still strong. A new wardrobe followed, then a visit to a local barber. When Joseph looked in the mirror, he blinked in disbelief. He saw not the ghost of a man, but a man reborn. Later, Ibrahim drove him out of the city. They arrived at a quiet property shaded by neem trees. A small house stood proud and clean, painted the color of sunrise. There were flowers in front, a garden behind, a little swing for children. "This is yours," Ibrahim said. "Mine?" Joseph stammered. "Fully paid. You are home again. No court can take this from you." Tears streamed down Joseph's face. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed. But Ibrahim wasn't finished. "Next door, there's a shop. You'll sell books and school supplies. The same way you once served knowledge, now you'll serve again." Joseph began his new life. The shop opened quietly but soon grew busy. Children came to buy pens and exercise books. Teachers greeted him warmly. He even offered free materials to those who had nothing. Slowly, the name Joseph became known again, not as a beggar, but as a helper. One afternoon, a woman walked into the shop. She wore a blue dress and carried an air of calm. "Do you have mathematics textbooks for senior students?" she asked. Joseph nodded. "Yes, come with me." Her name was Grace. She was a teacher at the nearby school. Over time, she visited more often, sometimes to buy supplies, sometimes just to talk. She was a widow raising her daughter, Rachel. She had tasted grief but carried it with quiet dignity. "You've brought something special to this neighborhood," she told him one day. "Hope." They began to walk together, laugh, share memories. Grace would bring him lunch. Joseph taught Rachel how to read faster. He even built a little reading corner in the shop just for her. One day, beneath the mango tree near his home, Joseph knelt before Grace with a small ring. "I don't have riches, but I have peace and a heart that knows your worth." Grace said yes. Rachel clapped and hugged them both. The wedding was simple. President Traoré attended and hugged Joseph tightly. "You've come full circle, my brother." Joseph smiled. "You gave me the strength." In time, Joseph started a foundation to help men who had fallen like he once had. They called it the Joseph Circle. He provided shelter, training, and hope. Men who once slept in gutters now ran food stalls, repaired bicycles, sold crafts. They called Joseph Baba. Stella, meanwhile, lived in a small rented room. The man she chose had drained her bank account and vanished. Her beauty had faded. Her pride had shriveled. She tried visiting Joseph's shop, but the sign read, "Closed for family retreat. Back next week." The photo on the door showed Joseph, Grace, and Rachel holding hands. She turned and walked away. 1 year later, Joseph was invited to the presidential palace for a state dinner. As they sat beneath lanterns in the garden, Ibrahim handed him a box. "What's this?" Joseph asked. "An award," Ibrahim said, smiling. "For your service. For every man you pulled from the darkness." Joseph opened it. A golden medal gleamed inside. He stood, eyes full of tears, and embraced his old friend. "You didn't just save me," he said. "You gave me the chance to save others." Ibrahim nodded. "That's the power of kindness. It multiplies." That night, Joseph sat on his porch beside Grace. Rachel played in the yard with their new puppy. The stars overhead blinked silently. "Do you ever think about her?" Grace asked gently. Joseph looked up. Not with anger, just wonder, that someone could throw away gold and pick sand. Grace chuckled. She lost a good man. Joseph turned to her, "And I gained a queen." They held hands under the sky, wrapped in silence. Joseph had become more than he ever imagined, not in riches but in dignity. His name now opened doors. His story lifted others. And every time someone said, "Thank you, Mr. Joseph," he remembered the dusty street where he once sat invisible. He no longer carried pain, he carried purpose. And somewhere across the land, boys who had lost their way whispered his name with reverence. Because when one man refuses to give up, and another refuses to walk past him, that is how a nation heals. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember that no matter how far they fall, there is always a way back. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep your heart open. Because the next Joseph could be someone you pass on the street, or someone you become.